All right, guys, welcome back. And today we're going to be taking a step back um, because I thought instead of going through the book right away, I think we should get some review. And I'm going to break things up into my own units because, especially with how things are right now, I think following the book is going to be a little difficult. So bear with me while we kind of backtrack a little bit. And I'm kind of going to just totally switch things up. But today we're going to be looking at interpreting parts of an expression and solving equations in one variable. So for a think warm up, I just have, can you remember what terms, coefficients, variables, and constants are in an expression? If you're watching this, maybe just pause real quick and try and remember because we're about to go over it. So first of all, I should ask, what is an expression? So an expression in mathematics is just any combination of numbers, symbols, operations, plus, minus, divide, multiply, grouped together to show a value of something. So an example of an expression is going to be 2x plus 4y minus 9, right? It's just an expression. It's just an entire thing of not words, but numbers and then variables and operations, plus minus is in there, multiplications in there, 2x, 4y. If we were to divide it by something, that would be, an expression is just one blob of numbers and letters, right? And stuff. So a term is a single number or variable or a mix of numbers and variables multiplied together. So working with our example above, our terms would be 2x or y and minus 9. Those would be our terms. Now, a variable, which you guys might already know, is a letter that represents an unknown number. So for our example above, we have x and y as variables, right? Those two letters in there that represent some sort of number that we don't know what it is. A coefficient is a number used to multiply a variable. So up here, our coefficients are, we go all the way up here, 2 because it's being multiplied by x, a variable, and 4 because it's being multiplied by y, which is also a variable. So we have 2 and 4 for there. And then a constant is a fixed value or number that is all on its own. And so if we look back up here, the number that's all on its own right here is minus 9. So for this example, minus 9 works. And I wouldn't worry about writing this down because it's summed up very nicely right here for you. So for our example, 2x minus 4y minus 9, it's nicely color coded. It breaks up the coefficients and the variables and the constant. So if you wanted to rewind or pause there to take note of that, it might be helpful. Now to solve an equation with one variable, you want to get the variable okay, alone on one side then solve. And we'll go over an example really quickly. So for this example 2, we're just solving for x. So what we want to do here is we see that 2x is already right here, and we want to get that alone on one side. So to do that, we need to get rid of this plus 6. So I'm going to get a minus 6. And when I do something to one side of an equation, I also have to do it to the other side. So when I'm minus 6 on this side, I also have to minus 6 on that side. And so the plus 6 and the minus 6 are going to cancel out. And I'm going to be left with 2x on that side. And then I'm going to have minus 4 minus 6, which is going to be minus 10, right? And now I have everything with a variable on one side by itself at 2x. That's everything with one variable. And I have negative 10 on the other side. And to get x alone, I'm multiplying by 2. So now I need to divide by 2. The 2's are going to cancel out there, and the negative, or so we'll have x left on that side. And negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. And then that is our answer, but typically you guys might like to just rewrite it as x equals negative 5. Just looks a little nicer that way. I'm going to try to block off our next problem. And then here we have negative 14 equals 3x minus 2. Same thing, and I already have 3x on this side. I'm just going to get it by itself, and I'm going to add 2 over to the other side. So when I do that, those 2's are going to cancel, and I'm left with 3x. And then negative 14 plus 2 is going to be negative 12. And then same thing, I'm multiplying by 3, so I'm going to divide by 3. And that's going to leave me with x equals negative 12 divided by 3 is going to be negative 4. And then if you just want to write it the other way so it looks a little more like we're used to, a little nicer, we can do that. So x equals negative 4 for that one. Now for C, we have something a little different. We have 4x minus 3 equals 2x plus 7. And, I like to try and keep my x's positive if I can. So what I see here is I have more x's on the left side than I do the right side. So to get all the x's on the same side, I'm going to subtract 2x from this side. And because I'm subtracting only 2x, I'm going to have a positive amount on this side. And then while I'm at it, this negative 3 is also going to have to go over to the other side. You can do this in a separate step if you like, but I'm going to do it in one so that we get used to it, because I think you guys can do it in one. So to get rid of the minus 3 on this side, we're going to plus 3, and then we'd have to plus 3 on this side. And so then we have 4x minus 2x on this side, which is going to be positive 2x. And then minus 3 plus 3 cancels out, so that's why I did that. And then on this side, we have equals 2x minus 2x is cancels out. And then we have 7 plus 3, which equals 10. And now I just divide by 2 to solve for x. And we're left with x equals 10 divided by 2 is 5. All right. And our last one here, the first thing I'm going to do is I see things with like terms on the same side. I see 4x and I see x. So I'm going to combine those. And the way I'm going to do that is 4x minus x. There's an invisible 1 in front of here, right? 4x minus 1x. If you have 4 of something and you subtract 1 of that something, you're left with 3 of that something. So 4x minus 1x equals 3x. And then I'm just going to rewrite, now we still have minus 2 equals 5x plus 10. And now I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. So I have 2 things on each side, but I want to get it done in, one swoop. So stick with me while I do that. I see that 5x is bigger than 3x, so I'm going to subtract the 3x from this side so I keep things positive. And then since I'm putting my x's on the right side, I know I'm going to want to get rid of that 10. So I'm just going to get rid of it now. I'm going to subtract 10. And then what I do to one side, I also have to do to another. And so minus 3x cancels. Negative 2 minus 10 is going to be negative 12. 5x minus 3x, 5 of something, minus 3 of something will leave you with 2 of that something, and then plus 10 and minus 10 cancel out. And then from here, we just divide by 2, divide by 2, and then you're left with x on the right side equals negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. And then again, if you want to rewrite it so that it's like we like to read it, x equals negative 6, that is totally fine. And that wraps up solving equations in one variable.